Hi there everyone, Russ Douglas 222, back in the Brucey Bonus Man Cave, and the man himself is here, so without further ado, I'll just turn the camera around. Hi Bruce, how you doing?
I'm fine, Russ. Good to see you again.
Yeah, likewise,
And,
been too long.
nice to have you back in the man cave to play with more toys to look at and more toys to tell people about.
Yeah, so toys wise, today we have two cutting edge thermal scopes. What can you tell us, Bruce?
Well, nearest you we've got the HIKMICRO Stellar SQ50. This is HIK's tube type thermal scope, so it's a direct competitor to the Pulsar Thermions in that respect.
Yeah.
Some people really like and far prefer a tube type scope with standard mounts that goes on a standard rail compared to sort of mounts that kind of hang back off the scope.
Yeah.
So this is the same 50mm objective lens, 640 by 512 12 micron sensor, and a 1024 by 76 OLED display. So basically, the HIKMICRO range has got the Thunder, which is the smallest one and the cheapest one, the same lens, same sensor, same display, in a small package hanging back off the scope. You've got the Stellar, which is their scope type version, which is a bit more expensive. And then they've got the Panther, which again is the same sensor display hanging off the back of the scope, but the Panthers of course have a built-in rangefinder. Yeah. So there's a model style for everyone there. Yeah. With the Stellar being in the middle of the three price-wise. It's about $3,500 list price. Now, apart from the tube type format, the improvements of the Stellar over the Thunder and over the Panther are better battery life. This has an internal battery pack, run time typically 10 to 12 hours, maybe even up to 14 hours. Right. Chargeable through the USB connector at the side here. Okay. And it also has the ability, if you do run out of battery, you can simply stick a standard CR123 cell in here. It's not a proprietary cell, any standard CR123 cell. Right. That'll give you about 1 hour additional runtime. It's not a lot, but it's like an emergency backup if you run out of battery when you're out in the field. That's a good idea. And you can see the quality of that. I mean, and look at the thickness of that brass. It's a solid bit of kit. I mean, I have to commend HIK on the way that they put this together. This is a solid lump of gear. Yeah. It really is well made. I like the three buttons. At the back we've got the on-off button. We've got the button to record or take still frames. Yeah. And this is the mode button that changes the colour modes. The colour palettes. There's also a microphone at the back here. Okay. Zoom is with rotation of this wheel here. Cool. And access to the menus and changing and moving through the menus is done by pushing the button in and then turning the wheel around and pushing the button in various combinations to get what you want. And this, I think when we did the review of the Panther, one of our issues was that we thought the little control wheel was a bit lightweight, might not last too long. Yeah. Can't say that about this. This is a really well made, nice feel about it. Yeah. You don't have any doubts about this one? I have no issues with this whatsoever. I'm very impressed with the build quality. My only issue with build quality is this plastic lens cap, which is common to pretty much all of the thermal scopes, and it's okay, it does a job, but I know that that's going to get broken at some point in time. Yeah. Image wise, it's the same image as in the Thunder and the Panther. Yeah. Good image. What the other thing they've done is they've increased the number of profiles you can have. Right. I think they're like 5 different reticles, and they've got profile groups, I think they call them. I can't remember exactly, but like A, B, C, D, and E. And within any given profile group, you can have up to 5 different profiles set up for different ranges with different styles of reticles, different colours of reticles, and obviously different XY coordinates. So you could, in principle, you could have up to 25 different profiles. Right. And it's got that fine reticle. It's got that lovely fine sparkle reticle. Sparkle reticle, we call it, yeah. Best reticle in the business. Yeah. In my opinion. I agree. No, it's a really, really nice reticle. I love that one. The one thing they've taken away from this that's in the Thunder is the trajectory function, where you can actually build your own reticle. The subtensions. Where you can put in your own subtensions onto one of the reticles. That function is not in here. That's been replaced by having so many blooming profile options, I think. Really.
Okay, right.
Although if let's say you've got a profile set up for a 0 at 60 yards, another 0 at 80, and another 0, you actually have to go in and change profiles to move it rather than
It would
just
be nice.
a holder.
It would be nice to still have those subtensions.
I liked the trajectory function. I thought it was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
That's no longer there, but that's really a very minor complaint, to be truthful with you.
Oh, and before I forget, we have to thank Ian Blackwood.
Absolutely. Ian Blackwood is always a star when it comes to letting me have stuff to trial and test. You'll notice the mounts we've got here do not come with the HIK. These are Innomount quick release mounts, which are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But cost about £250 a pair.
Right, so we've got a button on the reverse side.
So if I close them, I just press the button at the back.
Yeah.
That pops them.
Pops them open.
And
then.
And that's it. And you can adjust how tight you want it to be with that screw there.
Right. And that's a torque screw, isn't it, on the reverse side? Click them on.
That's it.
And then locked. Brilliant.
Very, very nice set of mounts. Beautiful set of mounts.
Yeah, excellent.
But obviously you pay for that.
You pay for the quality.
Expensive.
Right. So. Excellent. So we were just looking at a bird about a couple of hundred yards away through both of these scopes, and the Hike Stellar SQ50 was looking good, but something new here.
Yeah, something new, something a bit big and not very beautiful. It's not this. This is the Senopex S10. 10 means 100 millimeters. It's 100. This is a 50 millimeter lens. This is a 100 millimeter lens.
Right.
Basically, it's a 12 micron sensor in both. This one's 640 by 512. This one's 640 by 480. But that really doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
It's the lens that makes a big difference here.
Yeah.
That gives you more magnification.
And that is a big lens.
Base magnification on the HIK's about 2.5, 2.6. On this one, it's 5.5.
Right.
So base magnification 5.5.
So it's not a short range scope.
No.
But then
this is absolutely a long range scope.
A long range foxing scope. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we've got the two of them side by side, basically, so you can see the comparison between the lenses. I mean, this is a 50mm f1 lens, which means the diameter is also 50 millimeters.
Yeah.
This is a 100mm f1.2 lens, so the focal length is 100 millimeters, but the diameter is about 83 millimeters. 100 divided by 1.2 is 83 millimeters. So.
Right.
And you really couldn't go much bigger than that because there's not a lot of clearance.
No, that's very close to the Picatinny rail.
Yeah, and in my personal opinion, this is about as big a lens as you're ever likely to have on a thermal imaging scope.
Right.
I don't think it's practical to go really any bigger than this. I know a lot of people wouldn't even go as big as this. I put some photographs of this in the night vision forum, and there were quite a lot of people saying, "Oh God, that's horrible! I could never have that in a rifle." Yeah, it's big. I understand that. It means you've got to have some sort of something to get your cheek up.
Yeah.
But for me, the advantage of having that extra base magnification overcomes the potential issue with height.
Yeah.
But as I said, I think that is about as big as you're going to get practically in a thermal scope in terms of the lens size.
Yeah, and you've also I've had a look through it, and the quality is fantastic. That bird that was 170, 180 yards away on that roof line was very, very clear. So, Bruce, you've got some footage for me. So
I've actually got footage of both scopes running, looking at the same thing at the same time.
Brilliant.
So you can make an immediate comparison of what probably a road deer or something like that, what a road deer looks like at a given distance through this one, and the same animal at the same distance at the same time through this one.
Brilliant, thank you.
So,
am I right in saying the Senopex, there's no audio?
There's no audio in the Senopex, there's no Wi-Fi in the Senopex. Obviously the HIK has got Wi-Fi, and you can stream to an external device. You can't do that with the Senopex. It does have onboard recording, I've recorded, and you get the recordings off through this connector here.
Right, which we discussed.
And it's not the most wonderful thing in the world.
So basically, rather than having a memory card, we have a unique connector, and we have a rather large download cable.
This is the cable that plugs into there. The other end of the cable plugs into your computer. So then this just becomes a hard drive.
Yeah.
And you can copy or download the videos from here.
Yeah.
Into your
So you
computer.
don't want anyone using that hand-fistedly because there's some delicate little pins in there. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
You can also connect an external monitor to here as well, but I mean
That's a big download cable.
It's a bit old hat, to be truthful here, but
It's a big beast.
What it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm forgiving it a lot of its little things because of that big lens and sensor.
Yeah. The quality of the image.
That's right. Yeah, you know, but it's my primary interest is in foxing, not making videos about foxing. So
No. We have a plug lying here in a lanyard which plugs that opening just to prevent water getting in.
Yep. The on-off switch is at the other side.
On off there. Okay.
And your main controls are at the top menu and up, down, right and left. You've the main focus here and diopter focus here. Batteries is a really good thing about this.
Okay.
This unscrews and you get two 18650s.
Yeah. That's going to last you a long time.
That's going to last. That lasts a long. Okay, these are Senopex branded, but any flat top, unprotected 18650 will work in there, and you'll get 8 to 10 hours out of a pair of batteries.
Right.
And they also supply a battery charger with it as well. You get
Brilliant.
a 2-slot battery charger.
So it's a slightly unconventional shape.
It is.
But
Yep. It's I say it ain't winning any beauty contest, right?
hey, it doesn't bother me.
But you're using it in the dark and nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Very, very well made. The quality of build is terrific.
Yeah.
Senopex claim to be a manufacturer of military equipment, and they say they're building their hunting equipment to the same standard as they build their military equipment. Now, I've never seen any of their military equipment, so I can't comment on that, but I can see that this is a very well built piece of equipment.
And you just bought it.
Yes, I bought it.
Yeah. So this is Bruce's own property now.
This is my property.
This one will have to go back to Ian Blackwood of Blackwood Outdoors.
Yep.
But this fella is going to be claiming some foxes for you then.
Oh, I hope so. As I said to you, Russ, I think given my age, I may never have to buy another thermal scope after this.
Yeah. Well.
Because I don't think the technology and where we're going is going to get to the point where we're going to get an awful lot better than this.
Right. So have you sold your HIKMICRO TQ50C?
No, it's on my 2.2.
Oh, right. So it's on a different rifle.
Yeah, I put it on the
Cool.
2.2.
Right.
When I got the TQ50 first, when we had it that time before I actually bought it, I put it in the 2.2, and it's an absolutely brilliant scope for rabbits.
Right.
It's fantastic on the rabbits. I mean,
Yeah.
just the field of view, the image quality. It's just, for me, it's a great
Yeah.
rimfire scope. I mean, I've shot foxes out to 300 yards with it, but
Right.
and it's perfectly good at that. But
Yeah.
as a nice, because the Thunder's small and it's light,
Yeah.
short,
Very
it works
portable.
really well in that small gun, like
Yeah.
the rimfire with a short barrel. It's not much weight. It's a good setup, and the picture's great. So
Yeah.
that's where that was another part of my plan actually.
Right. It was handy on your 2.2 Hornets as well, wasn't
It
it?
was good. It's good in the Hornet, yep. But part of my overall plan was this was going to be my long range foxing scope, which meant that I can put the Thunder onto the 2.2
Right.
and have what I think is just about the perfect 2.2 thermal setup now.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy with that.
Brilliant.
But this is some bit of kit. You'll see when you download the video.
Yeah.
The image. There's like nothing's perfect. I mean, we spoke about the reticle. I spoke about the reticle, and this claims to have the reticle that changes from black to white. It's nothing like as good as the sparkle reticle in the HIK.
On the HIKMICRO,
because
yeah.
the HIK changes pixel by pixel.
Yeah.
So if you've got an area that's white and you've got the white reticle, only the area that the white reticle is over the target changes to black.
Yeah.
With this one, the whole reticle changes from white to black, and it kind of does it when it feels like it's doing it.
Right.
And you'll see in the video that I'm looking at some rocks that have been worn by the sun, and I've got the white reticle, and I'm starting out above the rocks. It's white. I bring it down over the rocks, and at some point it decides to change to black.
Right.
And I can move it up and down in the rocks, and it'll stay black. And I move up a bit, and I'm still in the rock, and change to white again.
Yeah.
You know, so it's nothing as light as good. So I won't use that feature. I'll have this on. You can have red, green, and yellow reticles as well. So
Right.
I think I've got it in green at the moment.
Right,
So
so
I'm going to have it on green.
Okay, so it's a fantastic scope, high base mag, five times, fantastic long range foxing scope. But the one thing that HIKMICRO still wins on is that
That
sparkle reticle.
Is brilliant. It's a terrific feature.
Yeah, I think we both agree that's. I mean, I love that reticle.
Yeah.
It's the best we've ever seen.
Yeah. When you up the magnification, what it does, it brings up the pit box. And any time you change magnification, it's only inside the pit box it changes.
Okay.
So your original base mag field of view is always there, but you've got the pit box occupying maybe, what did we figure it? Maybe the top third of the screen.
Top third, roughly, yeah.
And maybe half that way.
Yeah.
So it's only what's in the pit box is being magnified.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like to be able to keep the main field of view.
And then in case you spot anything else in the meantime.
Absolutely. So I like that feature.
Yeah.
There are so many blooming modes. It's unreal. You've got white, black, equator, boost, edge, assassin mode.
Yeah, assassin mode.
Actually, assassin mode is like a red hot mode.
Yeah.
It was actually really good when I was zeroing it the other day. I was able to get a really tight picture of the little hot hands buggy at 180 meters and just a nice little red square to aim at.
Yeah.
Perfect. I was really quite happy with that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd be shooting animals in assassin mode, but it turned out to be pretty useful for zeroing.
Excellent. So it had a time and a place.
It's got its function.
It's got a time and place.
So there's a lot of adjustability within the menus. It's got obviously brightness, contrast, sharpness. You can adjust the brightness to it says it's got a target brightness. I'm not really sure how that works. I think there's a reticle brightness control as well. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of adjustability.
So the size-wise, they are what you see here. But I was going to say, price-wise, this is about 3.5?
3.5. And I think that's 4.5.
4.5. Okay. You don't know the weights off the top of your head?
That's with batteries in.
With batteries in?
1.2.
1.2 kilos.
I've got glass scopes heavier than that. What's the heck? A matter of interest. 1.1.
Right, okay.
1.1, that's not a lot of difference.
No. So a grand extra, but you've got the extra added range.
You've got the range, you've got the magnification, which is really
and and it's called a DOT S10. So talk me through the models.
Okay, Senopex. The S tells me that it's a 640 by 480 sensor.
Right.
The A models have got a 384 by 288 sensor.
Right.
The number after the letter is the lens size. 10 meaning a 100mm lens.
Right.
7 is a 75mm lens. 5 is a 50mm lens. So, for example, the A5 would be a 384 sensor with a 50mm lens.
Yeah.
A7 would be 384 with a 75mm lens.
Right. S10 is the top of the range.
Sensor. That's the top of the range. Yeah. The A7, which is a 384 sensor with a 75mm lens, actually has a slightly higher base magnification, but it's got a narrower field of view, and the level of detail isn't quite as high as this.
Right. This is the dog's danglies then.
This is the dog's danglies, yeah.
Right. The mutt's nuts.
Yeah.
But
I'm not knocking the Hik. I like that as well.
Yeah. And the Stellar is a heck of a piece of kit.
Yeah.
Basically a HIKMICRO TQ50C in a tubular body
with a much better battery life.
Yeah.
I mean that was one shortcoming of the Thunder TQ50 was a short battery life.
Right. Okay.
I mean with the two CR123s,
of course,
it was only about an hour and a half. I've put a
Right.
battery pack extension on, which increases that, but it makes it a little bit bulkier.
Yeah.
So the big battery life you get with this is an improvement. Although having said that, it's internal batteries, you're going to have to charge them up.
Yeah.
But you do have that option of that CR123 in the top for an emergency backup.
A couple of those in your pocket for an extra hour.
A couple of those if you needed to, yeah, a couple of those in your pocket.
An extra hour each.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have that sparkle reticle.
And you have that sparkle reticle, which we like so much,
we
and a lot more
that.
profiles than you ever had with the other ones. If you want to buy a thermal scope that's a tubed scope, similar layout to a normal glass scope, you've got the Thermions from Pulsar, you've got this model from Hik, and you've got the Inferi TH50. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to say it here now. I don't rate the TH50.
Okay.
Just no. That is cheaper than the Pulsars.
Mm-hmm.
Pulsar do a tube type with a LRF hanging on the end here, which is brilliant, but it's like 4,600 quid. Yeah, it's a lot of money. The Thermion 2, which is basically the same as that, I think they're about 394. I might be wrong. Bit more expensive than this. Yeah. So in terms of tube style scopes, I would say this is your best bang for your buck at the moment.
Right. Cool. And you've personally gone for this one because it's just the dogs.
Yeah, for me, I mean, my previous thermal scope when I bought it 6 years ago was the top of the range in the day, and I've used it for 6 years. Now technology's caught up with it and passed it, and for me this is the best. And as I said to you, I don't think you're going to see much improvement over this, because you're not going to get much bigger than a 100mm lens, physical size. 12 micron sensor, well, next step will be 10 microns, and I don't think that's going to make a lot of difference. And we'll never get below 5 or 6 microns.
No.
So.
And sensitivity-wise, is it less than or equal to 25 millikelvin?
I think they're claiming 35.
35 millikelvin.
I take all claims of any TD with a large grain of salt.
All right.
Because there's a lot of porcupines told about that.
Okay.
Simply because unless you've got very, very sophisticated testing equipment, you could never actually measure that value. And I would guarantee they're not even all the different companies are not even measuring it the same way.
Right. Okay. So there's a fair bit of variation.
There's a bit of fudging going on there. Yeah. I mean, the only way to tell is to take scopes out at night. They all perform well in good thermal conditions. I doubt you could tell in a good thermal night, low humidity, and you put a 25 NETD scope against a 35 against a 40. I doubt you would see much difference, really, on good thermal conditions. You go in a night where it's misty or there's a lot of moisture in the air.
Yeah.
The good, like the pulsars, the XPs, they're claiming 25 millikelvins. I don't know if that's true or not, but you know that is seeing detail that you cannot see with the others.
Right. Okay.
So there is a difference.
Yeah.
But unless you had all the scopes side by side in the same conditions, then you're not really going to know.
No. Anything else you think the viewers would need to know?
No, I don't think so. I mean...
Oh, and we're missing... The Senopex doesn't come with a lens cap.
That's right, it doesn't come with a lens cap. You do get a daft memory stick. This was in the box, and I thought, why are they giving me a little rubber toy to play with? Only Russ's technology brain figured that it was actually a USB memory stick.
Yeah.
So well done, Russ, for figuring that one out, because I was puzzling why they were giving me a little rubber toy.
Well, first I thought it would be a key ring, but there's no ring with it. And then I just pulled it apart, and lo and behold, memory stick. Very clever.
Obviously, I showed you the cable, but they do give you a 2-slot charger, which is good. And I like the fact that it runs off 18650s.
Oh yeah,
that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Somebody did ask me, is there any problem with batteries losing contact under recoil?
The heavy recoil, yeah.
Yeah, and if you just look how well this is made and how nicely the batteries fit in the battery holder, no. Plus, that's at an angle.
Yeah.
It's not straight back.
No.
You know, if you go up like that, the recoil
it's not
that
a straight
way,
path, yeah.
Exactly. So that's going to reduce the effect of the recoil as well.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it ain't going to win any beauty contests, but Jesus, the image is good.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for the memory stick with the footage, and I'll get the footage spliced in here after this, and we'll try and put it in one big video, let everyone see 2 of the best thermal scopes out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. I should make the point that Ian Blackwood at Blackwood Outdoors is the sole importer for Senopex. He's the authorised importer. They can only be bought from him.
So Senopex, it's Blackwood Outdoors only.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Hike, obviously, you can get from Dick's Warehouse, Blackwood Outdoors, Scott Country. Most of the online sellers will be selling Hike.
Elite Optical, that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
But Senopex is... Ian Blackwood spent a year or more with the people from Senopex. They sent him their original product, and he said, okay, we've got a basis of a good product here, but I want you to do this, and this. And they've done pretty much everything he asked for.
Brilliant. That's fantastic.
The reticle is a true mil dot reticle.
Right.
For working out holdovers and stuff like that.
Are there any first focal reticles?
Yes, because when you go up and zoom, the reticle's in the pit box, and the reticle in the pit box changes its scale depending on how much. So the pit box is first focal plane.
Right. Okay.
But
brilliant.
the main field of view never changes.
Right.
Is what it is.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool.
And we've done some tests, and it's true mil dot.
Brilliant. So Bruce is just showing me his resolution test target.
So this is basically a piece of cardboard with some shiny aluminium tape in the front to reflect heat, and it's actually a shooting C target I've got behind there, which is matte black to emit heat. The slots are 1 centimetre wide, the bars are 1 centimetre wide, so you've got an alternating 1 centimetre wide target.
Okay.
And the idea is you put this up somewhere and you look at it with the thermal scope.
Yeah.
And you should be able to see 4 bars.
Yeah.
Typically you do this in white hot in the heat. This would be white and these would be, this would all the rest of this would be black.
Right.
So the idea is how far away can you put this target from the scope and still resolve the 4 white bars.
Right, okay.
So that's why we call it a resolution test.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously I've done it for these 2 scopes.
Yeah.
With the HIK I can get out to about 50 yards and still see the 4 lines. If I go much further than that, they start to meld together.
Right.
With that one I can go to double that distance, 100 yards, which is exactly what you would expect.
Yes.
Theoretically that's what it should be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll stick this up and let you see it.
Just to demonstrate this resolution test setup, Bruce popped the foil target on the rear windscreen of his 4x4 about 10 or 12 meters away, and I just recorded the image through both scopes. First the HIKMICRO Stellar SQ50 and then the Senopex DOT S10.
So that's 2 awesome scopes. Thanks very much for your time, Bruce.
No bother.
And see you hopefully very soon.
Already editing the compilation video with all Bruce's side-by-side footage recorded by the 2 scopes, plus an addendum video addendum footage, which is Bruce going through the menus of the Senopex DOT S10. Because we're obviously already familiar with the HIKMICRO Stellar SQ50 menus because they're the same as the TQ50 menus. Okay, more coming very, very soon, hopefully today.